Hello, everybody, and you're very welcome to the Darts Lovers United podcast. I don't know, Darren. We'll probably change that name. This is the name of the group,
Yeah,
so
I have a
why not?
feeling that the name will change
Yeah,
because
I think
someone
that
probably already has that copyright, I'd say.
I'd say so. Uh, well, this is just us that we're in this group, Dart Lovers United, as all of you are, and we decided that because we all talk a lot of shite in the group, we may as well talk a lot of shite on video. And we're going to get a few of you lads on here as well over the coming weeks and months, probably into next year as well. So, what better way to start, I suppose, than getting Darren on and myself just to chat a bit about darts and specifically what's happening tonight, which is the World Darts Championship. Darren, darts is back tonight, finally.
Oh, thank God! It's the one thing we look forward to every year. Who's going to be this year's Darius Labanauskas. That's what I
Yeah,
want to know. And I'm not core bad at pronouncing that name, but you know what I mean.
absolutely. Everybody knows what you mean, Darren. People always know what you mean.
Exactly.
Uh,
But we've
big
got, we've
panic
got
last night. Big panic last
yes,
night over the crowds. People thought the crowds wouldn't be let back in, but there's going to be a few there tonight.
yeah. As far as I know now, there'll be crowds tonight, and there won't be crowds again until the 23rd, I think.
Right.
I'm gonna double check that now to make sure. But as far as I know, that's going to be a big, or that's definitely going to chop the PDCs, making a few bob.
Well, yeah.
Uh,
Who cares about them making a few pound? But like the crowd being there was like, I mean, it would have been class. People were saying it was only 1,000 people let in, like compared to whatever. The Ali Pali only holds. What's the Ali Pali hold? Like four or something? I was there. I can't remember. I think it was
no,
only
I think it holds like six and a half, doesn't
it's
it?
six
Something
and a
like
half
that.
now. Yeah, I think they did make it a little bit bigger. I think, but like I know we always think of the Premier League crowds, 10,000 World Championship have to be up around that. But you have to remember it is a little bit smaller than some of the really big venues. But 1,000 people. In a darts venue would have been sizable enough. Would have been pretty decent out to cheer on the lads tonight, and would have looked good as well on the camera. He wouldn't have had to use the fake crowd noise and stuff. So I suppose
Yeah,
having something there,
me,
even for the opening night.
the fake crowd noise is just for me. If I was thrown in that atmosphere, that would be definitely more off-putting for me.
But they don't play there, though, do they? Or do they?
Oh, yeah, the players can hear it. Yeah,
Ah, is that why they were? Was one lad
as
given
far as
out because they were booing?
television.
Huh?
It's not just for the television. As far as I know, the players can hear it.
All right.
No, it's obviously down low, but as far as I know, they can hear it.
Yeah. I thought there was somebody given
But
out all right once because there were booze in it or something.
yeah, there was when someone missed Trouble 19 going for 12
Imagine
there.
Gerwin Price going up to throw a dart and this fake crowd starts booing him. It's like, Jesus Christ, it's hard enough to get over the fucking real crowd.
Now you said
Anyway,
it.
so tonight, starting off, the early rounds of the Worlds are normally pretty lopsided, aren't they? Like the round ones, and you have obviously the number one qualifier from different regions and different countries play against the ranked players, so it can be a bit lopsided. But obviously, we're looking the one every Irish fan is looking forward to tonight is going to be Keane Barry versus Jeff Smith. A draw I'm raging with because I'm a big Jeff Smith fan. Really, really like him. But we're going to get to the Keane Barry game now in a minute. So we're actually going to start at the top of the order. So first up tonight, Darren. Who's first up?
Yeah, we've got Steve West from England taking on the Indian qualifier Amit Gilawala.
Ah! Yeah, you nearly got it perfect. If we
I
were
nearly
chatting,
got
lads,
it.
we were
I tell
chatting earlier on, and Darren got a flawless with Gillawala.
anyone listening to this is not going to realise how many times I practiced pronouncing that chap's name before we come on. But
Look,
yeah, he's the Indian qualifier, so I'll be honest with you, it's going to be hard to know what kind of standard he brings. Steve West has been around long enough now and has threatened to retire. I don't know how many times if he wins a tournament. So that should be on paper. It should be an easy enough start for him.
yeah, you would think so. I was looking up your man actually, Gillawala, just out of curiosity. And again, he is the Indian number one. Like he's played a few times with the Indian World Cup team, obviously. But he actually moved to the UK a couple of years ago, and he plays in the Lancashire Super League. And
Right.
and he knows a lot of these players. Like he's from Chennai, I think, but he knows a lot of the players, and they know him as well. So he's not just some random lad that's coming over. They don't know who he is after picking up the bag and leaving India.
Yeah,
He plays Lancashire Super League. He knows lads. He's a decent player.
yeah.
He has, and you'd have to be a decent player. I mean, number one of any country. I know that we always say that, but it's true, especially now how big darts is getting. If you're number one in any country, you have to be decent. Steve West hasn't had a great couple of years. I think 2018, didn't he beat Michael Van Gerwen in the European Championships. in the to get to the quarter final.
Yeah,
That
he's
was
done
like that
really
was
nothing.
probably his that was probably his biggest result.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But he's so out of form. Like you really don't know what you're going to get. Like he turned up at the Grand Prix a couple of months, or last month or the month before. Sorry, in October, and he threatened to retire if he won it. So, but then proceeded to go up the following round. So, I don't know. It's whether he's it would make you, or you'd be thinking to yourself, is he really focused? So like, for me, he'll have to throw a decent standard to beat Chilwell tonight. So. Look, like I said to you earlier, on paper, it looks a one-sided game, but you never know. At the end of the day, he has to turn up and hit his doubles.
Exactly, and a lot of these lads don't know what they're like coming in. I mean, there's always somebody every year, and you never know. I mean, again, as you said, Steve is out of form. Right, so what's your prediction for that? We're going to do this, by the way. We're going to take predictions on each game or on each match, and we're going to see who gets it right, and then we're going to keep score on who gets the games right. So go on, Darren, what do you think?
Right, I'll go with the first round being the best of 5. We'll go 3-1 to West.
3-1 to West.
I think Chilwell will take a set off.
Okay, I think Chilwell is a lot better than people are giving him credit for, but I don't know if he's going to be able for that big stage. I think he's going to be nervous. There's a big build up to it. He's he's looking at his bright lights there. Steve West, he knows Peter Wright is waiting in the next round. I'm going to go 3-0.
Yeah, and I can tell you, it'll be very interesting to see if the crowd actually puts any of them off tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of them haven't thrown in front of a crowd in a long time.
Yeah, that's very true.
With everything else, but yeah, I think with the small crowd that will be there tonight, it will be interesting to see if they make their presence felt.
Right, we're going to move on to the second match. Beaton versus Portela. Steve Beaton, absolute legend, ledge bag, coming back every single year. Unreal.
This is his 30th consecutive World Championship.
Yeah,
that matches Phil Taylor.
He's unreal. He won the World Championships he won the BDO Worlds in 1996, didn't he? And in the last couple of years, I think he's ranked 33rd at the moment. He's just outside the top 32. He's fallen back a small bit in the last year, but he's still consistently getting to last 32s, last 16s on the floor. So, but he's Steve Beaton, the bronze Adonis. I mean, he's an absolute legend. He's so consistent. It's unbelievable how consistent he is.
And the man has the silkiest throw I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Everyone goes on about Barney having the slickest and all, but just go look at that release from Steve Beaton. It's just effortless.
And loves the big stage. Loves it.
Yeah,
he nearly always performs. And it looks like if he doesn't perform, it's not really going to bother him anyway. So he just goes up and he just plays his game, which is class.
That's it. Well, look, when you've been around as long as he has, you're definitely going to be on your game on the biggest nights, and I think he'll come out all guns blazing tonight.
Portela, what do you think?
Yeah, another up and down year, kind of. I think the best he's done on the floor was like 32. He threw a bit on the development tour. Wasn't really doing well. Threw in a couple of BDO tournaments early in the year as well, and didn't really do anything. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's going to be hard to gauge in terms of where he is with his game at this time of year. No doubt he would have been practicing fairly hard, but I don't know. It's for me, it's a bit like the first game. You're not really sure what he's going to bring to the table, but I think Beaton, he'll have to throw good darts to beat him too.
Yeah, I think he's rock bottom of the rankings. He's 500 quid, mate. And the reason of that is obviously his form has been off, but he hasn't played a lot of tournaments. He has a tough old year, I think. His wife gave birth to a baby, and he took a step back from a lot. And obviously, he has based himself in England, but there's a lot of travelling involved. But his form has obviously gone way back since 2016-17. I mean, remember he was on that Sky Show 180 that lasted like a half a season.
With James Wade, wasn't he?
James Wade. Everybody knew his face after that. But what's his nickname? Brazilian, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yes, he hasn't been too Brazilians now lately, but he's of the money in the money. He's rock bottom. So for me, this has to be 3-0 beaten.
The massive thing, even if he gets beaten tonight, he's made $7.5 grand. That's absolutely phenomenal. Just for getting there alone, the first round losers are on 7, and they get 7,500.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Really good point.
Yeah, and for a man that's made absolutely zilch this year, that's going to be a massive help to him in terms of building on for next year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What are you going with?
I'll have to go with Beaton just because he's if he turns up and like even his I know lads go on about his A and his B game, but like, even if he turns up with his C game tonight, he wins. Just for me, he's been there, done it. Definitely owns the t-shirt at this stage.
3-0.
Yeah, has to be 3-0 for me.
Right. If you're going 3-0, I'm going to revert back and I'm going to go 3-1 because who wants a draw? Nobody. Right.
No, nobody wants to draw with the new tiebreaker this year as well. But then we'll get around to talking about that later at some stage.
Yeah, I know you said it. Right. The one that we're all looking forward to, Jeff Smith versus Keane Barry. Really, really, really looking forward to this. Keane's second year in the World Championships. Last year, obviously, he qualified and he was knocked out by Vincent van der Voort in straight sets. But a lot of people, they could see something about him. We all knew about him anyway. At Dynamite, we knew how fast he was, how good he was, high scoring, good finishing. But he's a different animal this year, Darren, isn't he?
Yeah, his scoring has just improved so much. Like I watched him a good bit on the streaming and on the home tour, and it's just like he's constantly throwing high 90s and anything up to 102, 103 average. Like that's ridiculous standard for an 18-year-old.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of top 25 or top 20 lists for three-figure checkouts as well. See his name popping up all the time.
Even though he throws so fast, he's just he just looks so relaxed when he's up there. You have to remember last year, even though he was beaten 3-0, each set went 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. Yeah. He was very, very unlucky. Vincent just took out a couple of nice checkouts at important times, and that otherwise than that he would have been progressing. But I think he's got a very tough game tonight. Like Jeff Smith, the Canadian, one of the better. He's not. Yeah, he'd look at this way. He's what Nathan Aspinall was for the last 2 or 3 years. You don't want to draw him early.
Yeah, no, you said it.
You know what I mean? So, and he's had a very good year on the tour as well. Made a couple of semi-finals and a final, and he's looked decent. He scores very heavily. So Keane will have to get off to a really good start for me.
I started following Smith last year. I can't remember why. I saw him playing a couple of tournaments, and I was following kind of him and Cody Harris. The two of them had that kind of, they had to travel for, obviously, a bit of a difference in New Zealand than Canada, but they had to travel to all these games. When they arrived, they always put up a good show. I remember Smith was he won his tour card, and I remember saying to you, we did our predictions on who would do well in Q School, and I predicted Jeff Smith would get his tour card.
He was actually the first name you said to me, and I know I followed him from the BDO days, and he'd been unlucky the previous year in going for his tour card. He just missed out on contact, but in fairness, no, you were right. I'll give you that one.
He had a whole of a year last year. I was listening to an interview on Sky Sports with him, and his business burnt down last year.
Yeah, I remember reading that on Paul Nicholson's Twitter.
Yeah,
he had some sort of freak accident. That his business burnt down.
Body shop in Canada.
Yeah,
so he puts down his form to all the practice he was able to put in after the fucking thing burnt down, and he was able to kind of come over to the UK, stay in the UK longer. But when he won his tour card, he got to the final of his very first event in February, beaten by Michael Smith. I think in the final, could have been Peter Wright actually, 8-4. And he, I remember thinking from that, I said, this guy's going to kick on big time. Now he has done okay. He has done all right on the floor. I mean, he's up to 73rd or something.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all. For your first year, you have to remember as well he's Canadian. I mean, there's a lot of traveling going on there, They were great in the World Cup as well with your man, the Ginger Ninja. Sum you up. Matt Campbell. I mean, they've been talking about him for a long time as well, so he's going to be the next one coming up from Canada, I'd say.
As well, all right, too.
What a nickname! I mean, Jesus, the Ginger Ninja. So what's your prediction? It's tough to know. Keane has had Keane to be in this World Championships is just amazing. He won back-to-back development tour titles in 1 weekend, and that got him a place in the World Championships and got him a tour card.
Yeah. So he's the current. I think he's if I was to rank out, or if I was to list out what he's won in the last 18 months, he's BDO Youth World Champion, he's WWF World Youth Champion. He's won so many tournaments on the development tour is ridiculous.
JDC world champion.
That's right. So for me, I think this could be one of the best games of the first round, and I'm going to sit on the fence, and I'm going to say 3-2 either way. I'm not sure.
Bollocks.
Right.
No, not letting you away with that. Not a hope am I letting you away with that.
I'd want to be backing Keane all the way, but I just think Jeff has that little bit more experience, so we'll go 3-2 Smith.
I think Smith's experience is going to be huge. Keane is going to come out light and fast. He has 12 months of experience under his belt now. He's 18 now. He's seen a lot. I'm going to go 3-2 Keane.
Right.
It's amazing because if Jeff Smith was playing anybody else, not Irish, that I would probably be shouting for him. So it's going to be sickening. But a kind of a little segue on this as well is that they're on the same side as Willie O'Connor and Daryl Gurney, aren't they?
That's right. Yeah.
So the winner plays Chris Dobie.
Yeah.
And whoever gets over Dobie then plays the winner of Daryl Gurney versus Willie O'Connor or Neil Zonneveld. So if O'Connor beats Zonneveld and then beats Gurney, and Barry beats Smith and then beats Chris Dobie, it'll be Willie O'Connor and Keane Barry. It's a roundabout way of looking at that.
Don't get me wrong, no disrespect to Chris Dobie, but he wouldn't exactly frighten you. So I think whoever wins that match has the potential to go far enough in the tournament. Yeah. There's just something about Dobie. He'll talk. He could have 25 match darts and he'll talk himself out winning. Do you know what I mean?
Another lad I like though. I do like him. Okay, so you're going 3-2 Smith and I'm going 3-2 Barry.
Yeah, and I'm going to go out and say whoever wins this game has a great chance of making the quarterfinals.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the bracket earlier, and if Keane wins, I don't know if he could go any further. I'd love to see him going further. I think if Keane wins, he beats Dobie, but he struggles against O'Connor or Gurney. I think if Jeff Smith wins, he beats Dobie, he beats Gurney or O'Connor. That's just something I have in my head. I hate to say it because I want Keane obviously to go as far as possible, but here.
O'Connor won't have it all his own way against Zonneveld now, but sure, we'll talk about that again.
Exactly. That's on tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
What day is today? Tuesday, tomorrow. There's afternoon sessions on tomorrow as well. Quite handy when you're working from home.
Mine's medic's good, man.
Yeah, no, you said it. Right, literally right. Peter
exactly.
Wright. Peter Wright playing against Gillawalla after he shocks the world and beats Steve West. We're laughing now, but look back at this now and Gillawalla will turn out to be a fucking superstar. Right, Peter Wright, defending champion, coming back in. He's had a pretty good year, in fairness. He hasn't had a bad year. People are saying like, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done that. Technically, he's won the world championship in this calendar year. He's done okay. He's won a couple of titles. He's done consistently well on the floor. Last 16, last 32. So, what do you think? First of all, your thoughts on Peter Wright this year?
I think he's had a great year. Very, very consistent. This whole debacle over changing his darts mid-game, I just don't get it. I think for me, it's all in his head. He just needs to just settle, which he never will, because he's sponsored by Red Dragon. I'd say whoever manufactures his darts on the Red Dragon team they must have a constant headache, because I'd say Peter is constantly ringing him up looking for this and this.
That's the best thing about those sponsorships you can do. Keane Barry said in an interview recently that when he was signed up by Target, he said he walked in and it was just, you can pick whatever you want and whenever you want, and they'll make whatever you want. So I know it's a pain in the hole for them, but like the fact that he can change his darts, if he wasn't in a position to have that consistently tailored for him and made for him, would he do it? Probably not. Anyway, sorry, continue.
It's the fact that he can hit 100 average with three different sets of darts, like, it's just ridiculous. You think about it. Like
Luke Humphreys has a different point on one of his darts. And I asked him once why do you leave it? Is it for luck? And he came back and he said, I can't get the fucking thing out. So it's wedged in the barrel and he can't get it out. That's the only reason he doesn't change his point.
That baffles me the most, is that, like, he changes so often, but he can scored, he can hit 100 average there, nearly blindfolded, regardless of what he's throwing, which I think is ridiculous. So, like, I've no idea what he's working towards in terms of changing his darts, or in terms of how many times he changes his darts. So, like, bar throwing a hedgehog at the board, like, he's not going to be able to score any better.
I know what you mean. His side of the draw is pretty interesting as well. I mean, he has a potential match against Nico Kurz or Andy Hamilton or Gabriel Clemens. I know Clemens is actually the ranked player, but that match with Andy Hamilton and Nico Kurz is going to be a banger of a game. Nico Kurz is
a high scoring game.
Player. Okay, Peter Wright in that last game. Give me your prediction.
Right, easily 3-0.
Yeah, I'll take the draw, Darren.
Yeah, he won't break a sweat regardless of who he gets.
Probably won't even lose a leg, to be honest.
No, not.
Darren, we are up to just over 20 minutes with this now. We've probably lost anybody that started to watch this, but I'm going to finish off with the last minute of a question that you asked me earlier, and you mentioned him earlier. Who's going to be this year's Darius Labanauskas? Who's going to be the big surprise this year? Who's going to be the guy that everybody's going to go, wow, look how well he did? The Jamie Lewis of 2 years ago. Who's it going to be? Now, the first round hasn't even started yet. We're going to revisit this after the first round because the first round's a mess. You're trying to catch up with the games. You're trying to keep everything. Once it gets more condensed, you will pick them out a little bit more.
Well, I'm repeating myself now, but I have a couple that might fall into that bracket. One is Jeff Smith, just because of the part of the draw he's in. And I'll go with someone that's in his the draw as well, Max Hopp.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Max Hopp is probably the most infuriating thrower for the last. Talk about someone that was on the potential of a wave, because German darts has just taken off over the last 5 years, and he's been thereabouts, but he just hasn't kicked on.
Yeah.
He needs a big world championship for me.
It's a pity he's going to get beaten in the second round by Mervyn King, but anyway. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, Mervyn King can be hot and cold too. Just start shouting at the board when you hit a big score and you'll put him off. Gabriel, staying with the Germans, I should say. Gabriel Clemens could be interesting because he scores. He's a very good scorer, and he can check out as well. So he might be interesting. I know he's looking at a potential third round tie with Peter Wright, but I don't know. It's hard to really know.
It is hard at this stage because it's such an open, mad clusterfuck of an open round. Like, nobody really knows what's happening.
Yeah, like there's a Dutch guy I like there, Martin Clearmaker.
Yeah.
But if he wins his first round, he meets Danny Noppert. So
didn't he win his tour card last January?
Yes.
He was BDO, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
And he won it. He either won it on the first or the second day of the European Q School.
The handy Q School. Get murdered for saying that.
I would. Okay, I'll give you that, but don't know. For me, I know which one I'd rather go to.
Oh, I just glanced at the bracket there, and I saw that in the first quarter there, Dimitri van der Berg plays the winner of Luke Humphries and Paul Lim. Luke Humphries versus Paul Lim. What a game. Love Luke Humphries, one of the nicest guys in the circuit, and Paul Lim is Paul Lim, and the winner plays Dimitri. The winner of that game, Luke Humphries versus Paul Lim, beats Dimitri van der Berg. Anyway, we won't get off topic. So are they your Darius Labanauskas of 2021?
Go now. I know they're in the same half of the draw, but just for me, it's hard to. Look, no, I'll give you one more actually.
Dirk van Dijvenbode. Damon Hedder.
Yeah, Damon Hedder, because for me, he won't really be pushed until he gets to the third round against Glenn Durant.
True. Again,
so,
Glenn Durant, Steve Beaton is another cracker on that side.
He averages consistently enough in the high 90s, so like I think he could do damage,
Yeah, he definitely beats Damien or Adrian Lewis in my eyes. So
yeah,
no, it's fair enough. I actually had said I was looking. I didn't pick any more than two. But I actually said if Jeff Smith gets over Keane Barry, he goes far. He takes scalps. I do like him a lot. I have Nico Kurz down. I think
Yeah,
Nico Kurz is a cracking young player. He looks really cool on stage as well. He looks like it doesn't bother him. If things aren't going right, if he gets a bit more consistency, he beats Andy Hamilton. It's fantastic to see Hamilton back. I mean, that took some bottle for Hamilton to get back in there. Um, Nico Kurz beats Hamilton and beats Clemens in my eyes. Obviously, they know each other very well,
yeah.
and then that sets up a cracker with Peter Wright. Depending if Kurz comes in there with 2 good wins under his belt, he'll give Wright a bit of butter. So yeah, I didn't go too much beyond that. I have my one I said last year as well. I say it throughout the year, but Jeffrey Deswan is one of my favorite players at the moment. Um, I think he needs consistency. Um, he has a potential banana skin playing either Ryan Steele or Danny Lobby. Both of them are obviously we know about Ryan Searle, but Danny Lobby is a fairly tidy player as well. So Searle versus Deswan is good. That's a fast game as well. That's a lightning fast game. Deswan for me beats Ian White in the third round, and then after that, you don't know who he could meet. He could be him and Whitlock. If Whitlock can get over Darius Labanauskas. Okay,
Right.
Darren.
I'll put it
Uh,
to you then. Just one last question. I know we're running over time here, like mad. But
Bring it,
in your opinion, who needs a good World Championships?
Adrian Lewis.
Yeah, but that
Okay,
is
okay,
obvious.
okay. Do you know what? When you say who needs a good world champion, you mean like is there somebody out there that like needs a bit of a run to technically save his rankings, or that needs a good world championship because he needs a break?
Both. Because I think for me,
Joe Cullen.
Joe Cullen, Joe Cullen needs. You know what is? It's just he needs to do something. And for me, I know he's won a bit on the floor this year, and he's looked really good since he started using his new Winmouth darts. But just he lacks something. I think he kind of lacks that killer instinct or something in a game when he's had so many opportunities
Yeah.
this year to do really well, and he's just I don't want to use the phrase throwing it away literally, but you know what I mean, that's exactly what he's done.
I
But
think
for me, I think he needs a really good World Championships.
it's very funny that we both said Joe Cullen at the same time because when I said Adrian Lewis and I thought and Joe Cullen was the first name to come into my head. The reason I think Joe Cullen will have a good world championship is he's done it this year.
Yeah,
He's actually done it. He's lifted a title. He's got the money up. He's 16, is he? I think he's 16 in the
yeah,
world now. So he's done it. I think he plays Wayne Jones or Kieran Tehan. We all hope that Kieran can get over Wayne Jones. Jones is a whore when he gets into the World Championships. He can beat anybody. Kieran has shown some great form though. I don't want to get too into this because we're going to get into this separately. Kieran has shown some good form on the home tour. He beat Simon Whitlock there a couple of days ago as well. He's he seems to be finding form at the right time. But Joe Cullen for me, um, plays Johnny Clayton in the potential third round, I think. Listen, we'll know what Joe's going to be like after that first game. Because
exactly. Yeah,
Joe's tournament, if Joe struggles in the first round of a tournament, that's it, he's bollocks. So, Darren, we're going to wrap it up there because we're coming up towards the 29 minutes. There's probably nobody listening to this anyway at this stage, so we can say what we want. Darren, thanks a million for joining us. As I said to everybody, we just decided to do this for balls of it. I know the audio is a bit, when we talk over each other, it can get a bit crackly and stuff, but we'll sort all that out. We did this for the balls of it. The Darts Lovers United group, there's probably 300 of us in it, and we always talk about darts anyway, especially around the World Championships. Put your comments below. Let us know what you think about your own predictions for tonight or for the tournament. Obviously, tear the whole office if you want. No problem at all. That's what we're here for. But more importantly, we're going to get a few of you lads on here as well. Plenty of you lads are able to talk. I know a few of you are well able to talk. So we'll get you on over the next few days, next few weeks. Lots and lots and lots of darts coming up. It's fantastic. So we're going to sign off from myself and Darren. Best luck to Keane Barry tonight. Here's hoping he can beat Jeff Smith, but Smith puts in a good old performance on the way. And we shall chat to you whenever. We don't know. But this might be the first and last. Might never do this again. Mightn't even been recording. I don't know. Mightn't even press record button. I don't know. Darren doesn't know. But at least we had a bit of crack on you for half an hour. So Chat to you all after. Thanks very much for tuning in. See you soon.
All the best, folks.